Hi there, it's Jen, and thanks so much for stopping by today. Today I'm making a really happy, bright, fun card that is super quick and easy to make. This is for visible image stamps, and the main stamp that I'm using with that butterfly is called Live Life Now. I will also be using a stencil and then a sentiment set. And the sentiment set is this one. It's called Just Be Happy. I thought I was going to use the miscellaneous stamp set, but I didn't end up using that. And then I'm going to use this stencil. This is a 6x6 stencil, and it's called Strobes. So I'm going to do a little bit of heat embossing first. And so I wanted that butterfly lined up in the middle of the stencil. And so I set the stencil down inside my MISTI, and then I'm going to lay the stamp over that. And then when I bring the door to my MISTI down, it'll grab that stamp and I can remove that stencil from behind it. I'm going to be using some embossing powder from Lindy's, and this is a really pretty embossing powder. So I went ahead and I prepped my paper with my anti-static bag, and then I'm going to take some Versamark and ink that stamp up and stamp my paper. I am using a Bristol Smooth cardstock since I will be using distress sprays, and that handles a decent amount of water. And then this Lindy's embossing powder has all sorts of little things mixed in it, little, I don't know, elements. It's just not a flat silver. So I shook it up a little bit before applying it. It is called Chrome Doesn't Pay. And I'm going to start heat embossing this from the back of the cardstock. I know I didn't do a very good job of filming this, but I went ahead and started heating it from the back just because I didn't want any little flakes or anything flying off. And so once I heated it from the back, I went ahead and just went over the front really quickly. And then I'm going to grab my Strobes stencil and place that against the paper, and then I'll flip it over and add a little bit of tape. So I add some tape to adhere the card to the stencil, and then also to adhere the stencil to my surface. The colors that I'm using of distress spray are Squeezed Lemonade and Salvaged Patina. And I'm going to take the squeezed lemonade and apply that in the middle, and then the salvaged patina around the outside. Once I spray it, I'm going to take a baby wipe and just blot up that color a little bit, which in effect reduces the brightness of the color. But I do go back over several times with these colors to brighten that up a little bit. And then I'm using my heat tool. When I'm doing this, I'm just applying the heat for a couple of seconds and then removing it. I didn't want it completely dry, or I knew I didn't have the patience to wait for it to completely dry by doing that. And so I went ahead and just did it a few times just to get it dried up a little bit. And then I'm going to take that baby wipe again and wipe off any ink that got on top of the butterfly, and then blot up some of the wet spots as well. And then I'm going to finish this off by adding the sentiment, and again, that is from the Just Be Happy set. And so I am going to heat emboss this as well with that same Chrome Doesn't Pay embossing powder. And then if you'll notice at the bottom, the stencil, I didn't have it perfectly lined up, so there's just white space on the bottom. And so to fix that, I went ahead and I grabbed the salvage patina, and while I did that, I added a few little salvage patina splatters. But I'm just taking a brush and I'm just adding a little bit of that with the brush just to kind of fill that up a little bit. I thought about cutting it off and then realized I didn't want to do that. So I just went ahead and tried to make it look as if it belonged. And so, which is really easy to do with a mixed media type of project because it's very rarely perfect. And so I went ahead and took some opaque white paint and watered that down, and I'm adding a bunch of splatter. And that's it for this card. I think it's really happy and cheerful. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did like this video or find it informative, please go ahead and give a thumbs up. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend with me, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much.